this amazing musical launch, and Suki Baji was on stage, and it just, everyone who was there. How many of you were there yesterday at that launch? So you saw that. And I want to take it back to music for a second, because I remember saying that there's no, or hearing that there might not be space for music in the OTT genre, but you know, everybody proves that wrong, and I'm so happy with Jubilee you did that. So how important is music? Because he brought up music some time ago as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's still an Indian film, OTT platform or theatrical, right? And this is the one unique thing in world cinema which distinguishes Indian cinema, how beautifully we integrate music with storytelling, right? And it is a tradition, it's a culture that, you know, is just too special for in the hearts of all of us sitting here and the audiences too. You know, how do we manage to? It's something that Western audiences still don't get. It is so much in our blood. The trick, of course, is that it should not be done gratuitously. Right? It should be, as the cliche goes, integrated with the story. And I think, and when that happens, both the emotion of the story and the narrative of the story really gets enhanced, which is what has happened in our film in all the song situations. You will not feel that we have just thrown in a song, you know, for the audience to just take a break or something like that. The songs are very important for emotional landing and for taking the narrative forward. And in that, we have stayed true to, you know, the glorious tradition of Indian cinema.
See, I don't know for sure if it does.
Yes.
I think I'm really glad and very lucky that not only did I get to do this film, but I also got to do it at the time that I did. I think that, you know, I've grown up a little bit. I've learned a few things about myself. I've also learned that there is a difference between just noise and actual value. And I think it's very important before you portray a character like this to understand that, because you have to rely more on what's within rather than just find comfort in an attractive exterior. And I think that that was a development that had to happen personally for it to be able to translate. But when you ask me why I do a film like this, as an actor, I've said this before and I'll say it again, versatility is something that I really, really look forward for. I want to be able to live emotions that I wouldn't be able to ordinarily in my own life. I want to be able to inspire, I want to be able to create. And I think this film does all of that. Right after a film like Zara Hatke Zara Bachke, where I'm like a Punjabi loud housewife, to be able to go back in time and find a certain stability, a therav, a timeless quality. Like Karan sir said, you know, we talk about this being just a story of inspiration, which I really hope it will be. But it is also a very relevant story of inspiration, because there's always some form of injustice. You put it on yourself, other people put it on you, there's societal pressure, whatever it is. Your ability to stand up for what's right after recognizing it is extremely important as an actor, as a human being, as an Indian, as a world citizen. And I think that this film tries to showcase that.
Fantastic, and I wish you luck with all those journeys, personal and professional.
You know, there are very less producers who make this female-oriented films. So, as a male, what made you do that? And secondly, when the director pitched you this whole story, what is that USP, unique selling point of the movie you felt to produce it?
Sir, I'm a proud feminist. I was raised by a strong mother and very, very strong aunts. I don't see gender where it comes to story. I see power of narrative. And for me, choosing a female-led story is almost an instinct, because it's something I'm just drawn to. Because, like we said, we live in a vastly patriarchal society. And even in the recent film that I directed, it was a commentary I made in that film. The USP of a story I don't see by gender, I see by narrative and soul and story and everything else. Watan Mere Watan was a story that needed to be told for all the reasons we've discussed on this panel. But when you speak about when I'm a male making a story about female, that just comes naturally to me. I'm not even thinking that I'm doing something great or grand. It's something I want to do. It's something that is coming naturally to me. Whether it was Razi, or it's been Gunjan Saxena, or it's now Watan, Mere Watan, or it's been the short films that I've directed, which have been led by women in Bombay Talkies and Love Stories. Like, these are, it just comes naturally where the women in my films have agency. Naturally, it's because I believe they must. I believe they have to. So these are just natural, organic decisions that they come from the root of my upbringing, and I will continue to tell those stories with as much abandon as possible.
Thank you. Thank you, Karan, and thank you so much.
Hello.
Other languages, sir, I'm the language I'm comfortable in telling a story is the language that I was raised in, which is Hindi. I'm all about cinema across the world. In fact, I was one of the first people who actually introduced Bahubali to the Hindi-speaking, audiences of this country. And I believe that the films made, whether it's Kannada, Malayalam, Telugu, Tamil, are outstanding. And what all of them have created, and thanks to platforms like Amazon Prime, where we can actually see those movies, fall in love with the power of Malayalam stories, fall in the power of the great mainstream abandon of Telugu cinema, with the nuances of Tamil cinema, with the supreme storytelling of Kannada cinema. Right now, with Hemant Rao's new film, Side A and Side B, I was blown away by just the story, but equally blown away by PS1 and 2, Mani Ratnam's genius, equally blown away by the power of KGF, which opened doors in Kannada cinema, equally blown away by the solid mainstreamness of Pushpa and RRR. I mean, like, there is so much happening in Hindi cinema, but there is so much happening in Indian cinema. And I think that's what we have to do. We have to drop the woods that we associate our cinema with and just proudly call ourselves proud members of Indian cinema.